Once upon a time, there was a little fella named Cuphead.
This lip sync. Also, there is so much clipping from the line art going on here. The artist couldn't have just taken the 1 or 2 seconds that it takes to erase? The background art has no lighting and looks super dull and boring. The coloring strokes are going horizontal on all the blank places, but around the lines they're going vertical. His hand just phases through the book.
He and his brother had a bit of a gambling problem.
Why does the roundness of the characters look so rigid and sloppy? Even if you draw with a mouse, there are drawing softwares out there that'll smooth your lines for you. What is this monstrosity? Also, King Dice has no shading. Also, King Dice's eyes are light gray. Also, these coins look more like Ritz crackers than coins. This text is so badly written, it's almost ineligible. The perspective angle of this board is so poorly drawn.
And things kind of got out of hand. The sleazy townsfolk met together that night to discuss the problem.
The devil's left foot has his toes pointing upward. Not a great stance if you're trying to balance. Wait, why are Mugman's legs going over his hand? The dimensions here are so messed up. This smile. The artist forgot to color in the middle of the circle in the O. Also, those stars in the sky are so badly drawn. I don't even know how you messed those up. A star is literally just a dot, but for some reason he decided, I like the smudged star look better. Beard ink. The backgrounds would have been much more acceptable with a little depth of field added. It would have also made the sizes of the characters relative to the background a lot more clear. None of these characters are tracking with the ground properly.
The townsfolk met together that night to discuss the problem, knowing that Cuphead would soon be coming for them.
Wait, why does Dr. Cal have smoothed out lines for his head and perfect curves for his nose if all the other characters are going to look poorly drawn? You should at least consistently draw them poorly if you do it at all.
You've all probably heard the rumors about this plucky little fella named Cuphead.
The motion blur in this is fine, I guess. I mean, it makes everything look a little smoother, but at the same time it doesn't really add much. I'm not gonna give it a sin, or take a sin off for this, so yeah. This guy's toes are broken. More floating. The wriggling on Cagney Carnation's stem is just odd. It looks really unsettling. Also, why are this dude's arms inverted?
He's coming to collect on our deals with the devil, and we need to stop him.
Even more floating. Okay, I'm just gonna give a sin for every time a character floats around improperly for the rest of the animation. Phantom Express and Warner Werman are just standing there smiling and doing nothing. They look like they have no idea what's going on. Maybe they're artistic renditions of the people who made this video.
Hey, he's coming this way, so beware.
That's the most awkward wave I've ever seen in my life. Hildeberg doesn't have teeth in this shot, but then she does in the next shot. This beak bends like it's made of flesh.
Say, let's shoot him right out of the air. Ha ha ha!
These feet are so tiny. I don't know why, but this palm tree just makes me feel sad inside. Also, this tongue looks so unnatural. It looks like a chocolate candy bar that was split through the middle and just shoved into the back of his mouth.
I could put him on icing myself.
This super long finger. Also, her hand is positioned as if it were holding a trigger, but there's nothing there, and it just looks silly. This flat, wobbling PNG.
Free veggies will be so good for his health.
This shot was really awkward, and didn't make any sense. What was he doing with his arms? Was it supposed to be funny?
Let's just smash him.
Whack him with the trout.
This tongue looks more like a giant third lip.
We could thrash him.
And then pull his insides out.
That thumb. This really distracting black uncolored spot in his mouth. This lining around Captain Brainybeard's collar is a lot smaller than the lining on everything else here.
We're gonna kill off Cuphead. We're gonna make him die.
Whoa, calm down on the squash and stretch there, buddy. That is not how physics behave. If this song is a conversation among all the bad guys in Cuphead, there should be more group shots to convey this.
We're gonna kill off Cuphead. It's a big goodbye. We're gonna kill off Cuphead. We're gonna make him pay.
All these sound effects are so distracting and make it hard to hear the song that's playing.
Stand to the devil. He's coming to today.
Wait till I get my wings on that Cuphead.
That choppy waving of the stem. I would give a sin off for the fact that you actually made the arms have offset here, but I'm not, because if you knew about doing offset, why didn't you do offset for everything else? Was the linear looking animation done on purpose? I guess this holding the head scene must have been pretty easy to do considering the head was just a PNG and could have been easily dragged over. That bird's lip sync. His beak never fully closes while he speaks.
I'd like to check his china.
I'll see that his life is cut short.
Another clear indicator that everything in this is just a separate PNG. The top of Phantom Express's eye doesn't have motion blur when it goes up, making it clear that it's a separate piece. That's not how you close your fists, bud. The tongue has no lining.
I call the cops to come please support.
Why not give him the ride of his life?
Copy and pasted characters. I'm pretty sure a phone like this wouldn't work wirelessly. What even is that hand supposed to be? It's not holding on to anything, nor do I see any fingers on it. It's just a stubby blob.
And she the briar sharp as a knife. Let's use science.
The background is super blurry because this shot is so zoomed up.
And Thomas says favor. Sky high violence.
This super perfectly shaped cube doesn't match the Microsoft Paint look of everything else. Baby Warble's left arm should be behind his body. What's with all the random circles on the background?
We're gonna kill off Cuphead. We're gonna make him die.
We're gonna make him fish food.
Except we'll make him fry.
Those wrecking ball physics, just... that face is just horrifying.
We're gonna kill off Cuphead. We're gonna make him pay. It's not to the devil. His colors are today.
When the cat eats Warner, the cat's head goes through his body.
One shift of the stars and the tide is sure to turn.
Too bad Cuphead's about to lose big.
Why is there this random floating line that just appears and disappears? How does that happen?
3 heads will hunt until Cuphead feels the burn.
What the rest of his headlining gig?
Those heads do not even remotely appear connected to his body. His eyelids go down, but then they just fade away instead of going back up or staying down. The eyelids were just like, wait, this is Cuphead the Musical? I'm out. Sally's stage play is holding this umbrella without grasping it. Is it just a part of her body? Does she just have a really weird umbrella-shaped appendage?
They call me King Dice, cause that's who I am. A royal painter's diabolical plan. To close some contracts needs a circle or two. So come on, Cuphead kid, I'm talking to you.
This super stretched arm. Who is he? Elastigirl? For the stretching on King Dice's arm, the animator literally just stretched the PNG to be longer. You can tell because the end of his arm is all messed up.
A royal painter's diabolical plan.
That lip sync. This part doesn't have motion blur. This contract is different from the one it showed in the opening shots.
Come shake my hand. We got a deal? Good, cause now it gets real.
Why is his head suddenly super wide and off to the side? And why did that rhyme? Is it really that hard to get perspectives right? Also, those hand sizes are completely wonky. And the feet sizes. On this part, the lyrics end with an exclamation point, but the actual singing is whispering. Also, now his head is super tall. How do you mess these things up?
Agreed to my game and you lost.
Oh. This random white smudge on the devil's face.
You accepted the odds, now you'll cough up the cost. Don't screw with me, kid, or I swear.
Why does the style of the devil keep changing? He's changing between a puppet and an attached mouth. Pick one. Those feet sizes again. Goodness. Also, his wrist is definitely broken. Why is the liquid coming out of his head blue? In the game, it's always white. Pretty sure Cuphead's ceramic head wouldn't squish like that. Also, why would he have a vein popping out right here?
I'll take my teeth from your skull like cheap chinaware.
Where's this ink coming from? Also, why is there ink coming from his head? I'm almost certain that never happens in the game. Also, magically appearing band-aids. Whoa, Cuphead just got thick all of a sudden.
I'll take my teeth from your skull like cheap chinaware.
But he's a cup and doesn't have a skull, so what are you talking about? The teeth clip through the bottom of his mouth. The devil's eyes just float around unnaturally.
Scorch him. Looks like we're by his brains.
Tease him.
Touch him.
And then bury goose remains.
These arm positions. Fat, flat, falling PNG. Based on the way Cuphead's handle is positioned, I assumed they were trying to make it appear like his head is tilting back. But his head is still looking forward, while his handle is just drooping down. If his head was tilting back, we should be able to see the inside of his head.
We're gonna kill off Cuphead. We're gonna make him die.
It's his final curtain.
And the end is nigh.
This smoke doesn't come out from the pipe. Fingers. The depth of field is affecting Phantom Express, but the background isn't affected at all.
It's coming to today.
Those hips. That body squish was way too extreme.
It's coming to today.
It's coming to today. It's coming to today. It's coming to today.
It's coming to today.
Good finale idea, just poor execution still. This would look nicer if there wasn't a giant slab of wood on the floor for some reason. The animator gives you one final look at all the characters that made your eyes bleed. The devil's arm just rotates across the screen. It would have been a lot better not being there. It's just distracting. The devil's mouth changes again. He also has no jaw apparently, and his lower teeth just moved down.
And they all lived happily ever after. Wait, no they didn't. I'm pretty sure those people killed him. Oh well, circle of life.
Ha 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 ha. Who is he reading to?
Welcome! Buy Random Encounters music and merch down in the description and ring this bell to be notified when new videos go live. Support new musicals and get exclusive perks by backing us on patreon.com/Random Encounters.
Yes, support them on Patreon so they can pay better animators for future videos.
Beard salute! Ugh.
What the heck is that armband? This video has the opposite criticisms of a typical Sin video. The video did great idea and pacing wise, but struggled animation and overall quality wise. The movements were too linear, no anticipation. There should have been more components on each drawing to animate, to make each character more lively. The drawings need smoothing and polishing as well. Although the quality was distracting and needed improvement, the plot, and especially the music, makes up for a lot of it and delivers satisfaction with the finale.
One, two, three.
One.
Here comes Elastigirl, stretching her arms, Elastigirl.
DC! Wake up! Wake up! Oh no!
I am your host, your ghost host.
I fear no man, but that thing, it scares me.